There are many theories and factors that explain and justify this impressive sequence of victories, one of them being the strategy adopted by Israel, both offensively and defensively. Israel is a small country with an area smaller than the state of Sergipe, which is the smallest of the Brazilian states. Which means that in defensive terms the Israelis simply cannot retreat. In World War II, the Soviet Union used the so-called scorched earth strategy a lot, retreating and ceding large areas to the Germans, destroying the infrastructure of the regions before abandoning them and regrouping hundreds of kilometers in the rear to prepare counterattacks. But Israel cannot do this, as it is surrounded by the Mediterranean on one side and by enemies on the other. And so, the defensive strategy of the Israelis is to attack and advance through the interior of enemy territory. This happened, for example, in the Six-Day War, when Israel found itself surrounded by more than 240,000 soldiers from Egypt, Syria, Jordan, and Iraq. In that war that took place in June 1967, Israel had less than 100,000 soldiers and less than half of the Arab tanks and fighters. Therefore, in order to defend itself, Israel attacked before the enemy attacked, taking the enemy by surprise and winning the war in just 6 days. Another reason for so many victories is the level of freedom of action given to the Israeli military. Israel has always invested heavily in the training and education of its soldiers and officers. This means that during combat these soldiers are prepared to act on their own, taking advantage of and exploiting the flaws and gaps provided by the enemy.